Welcome to Rapportkommentar Direkt. With me in the studio today I've got Pekka Simula. He's the CEO of Herantis Pharma. Welcome, Pekka.
Thank you.
Since you guys are still in the research phase, I won't be focusing on numbers as much this time, but could you please start by telling me about what was the most important things that happened last quarter?
Last quarter was actually very busy for us, and in drug development being very slow, it was exciting that we completed the patient recruitment in our phase 2 study in lymphedema with our Lymfactin gene therapy. We also completed the main study in our phase 1/2 Parkinson's study with CDNF, aiming at disease modification in Parkinson's disease, and also with the next generation CDNF, which is a less invasive approach following up on CDNF, also aiming at disease modification. We selected lead candidates for the next stage in preclinical development. And very importantly, we also dual listed our share in Stockholm, so Nasdaq First North.
Congratulations to that. What will you be spending this money on, and how long do you think it's going to last?
Well, we raised about total about 10 million euros last year in March and now in December, and that money will last roughly until the end of first quarter next year, so approximately 12 months from now, and we're spending it hopefully wisely on our drug development, so moving forward with CDNF in Parkinson's disease and Lymfactin in lymphedema.
Can you please talk a little bit more about these two, Lymfactin and CDNF?
Absolutely. So Lymfactin, first of all, is a gene therapy for the treatment of secondary lymphedema, which is a disease where the lymph, the liquid, is starting to remain in tissue. So there is some disruption in the lymph flow, and for that reason the lymph remains, for instance, in the hand when we're talking about breast cancer associated lymphedema, which is our first sub-target indication. And it causes a tremendous swelling, permanent swelling of the arm. So the one arm can be twice or 3 times the volume of the healthy arm. So you can imagine it's very painful. It's a huge impact on your quality of life. And there are no efficacious disease-modifying treatments to this disease. So we're aiming at, with our Lymfactin gene therapy, we're aiming at reconstituting the lymphatic system. So we're growing really new lymphatic vessels to kind of repair the damages that are causing Lymfactin. So true disease modification, hopefully even a curative treatment. Mm-hmm. CDNF in Parkinson's disease, exactly the same way, we're aiming at a significant breakthrough in Parkinson's disease. So the current treatments are largely based on levodopa, which was discovered in Sweden in the late 50s. Okay. So it's a treatment
Long
that's
time ago.
Very, very old treatment. Of course, it's improved, it's been reformulated and combined with different treatments, but still, it's the treatments of Parkinson's disease are basically just symptomatic treatments. They do not stop the disease from progressing. The treatments don't save the dopaminergic neurons in the brains from dying, which causes Parkinson's disease. And that's exactly where we are aiming. So with CDNF, we hope to stop disease progression. We hope to keep those neurons alive to significantly help the patients.
I understand. And you recently reported positive results from the initial study with Parkinson. Can you please elaborate?
Yes, so it's very exciting. It's the first in human study. So it's the first time in the world when CDNF has been administered to patients. And so from a regulatory viewpoint, this kind of a study is always a safety study. But we've been able to do it in Parkinson's disease patients, and we've even been able to do it in a randomized placebo-controlled setting. So part of the patients have been randomized to receive a placebo and not CDNF, so that we can actually compare CDNF against placebo. And it's been very exciting that already in this first study in patients with an advanced Parkinson's disease, we are seeing very promising signals in the PET imaging. So there is an imaging modality with which we can actually see the viability of those dopaminergic neurons. And we've been able to see that the CDNF treatment has kind of brought some of those dopaminergic neurons back in these patients in the relevant area, which is of course very exciting in Parkinson's disease.
Of course. Do you have any idea of when we can expect final results from the study?
The treatments still continue, so we've now treated all patients for 6 months. And now even those patients who for the first 6 months received a placebo have been crossed over to the active treatment. So we'll continue treatment for another 6 months, and the last patient's last treatment will take place in June, if everything goes as planned. And then we expect that in the third quarter of this year, we will be able to report results from the complete 12-month period.
Okay, look forward to that.
Absolutely, we too.
Yeah, and so in the financial report, you are mentioning that you are preparing for future possible partnerings. So I'm interested in knowing, what would an ideal partner look like?
Our work is based on really novel science and also very compelling science. So this is coming from some of the laboratories of some of the leaders in the world in their fields. So we're also hoping to find a partner who shares our enthusiasm and belief in this novel science. But also we'd really like to work someone in specific to CDNF who has a strong expertise in Parkinson's disease and other neurodegenerative diseases, and obviously the strong resources that could help move forward with an approach like this that will require significant investments before it can be brought to the benefit of patients all over the world.
Okay. So what are you focusing on now, these upcoming quarters?
Absolutely. We are continuing to focus on the ongoing programs. So the patient treatments are being completed also in the Parkinson study. And we have a huge amount of data to be analyzed on the next generation CDNF, the non-invasive CDNF program. The hard work continues. We are continuing lead optimization of those compounds. And of course, we are aiming to talk to as many possible partners as are interested, share our results, and hope that we can then rapidly proceed to the next stage in development. And we're already planning the next clinical studies with both Lymfactin, which would be a phase 3 study, as well as with CDNF, which we expect to be a phase 2 study in Parkinson's disease.
Okay. And my final question is, are there any specific dates or events that investors should look out for?
As said, in the third quarter this year, we will come out with more data for the entire treatment period, 12-month treatment period in the Parkinson study. And then the 12-month blinded follow-up in the Lymfactin study will be completed roughly at the end of this year. So in the first quarter next year, we will already also have the unblinding of the lymphedema study.
Sounds like there's exciting times ahead.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for coming to studio and answering my questions.
Thank you, Kaisa.